What do you think about fucking disabled hookers? Like just hookers with disabilities, you know, like a...
What type of disabilities?
I mean, it could be like a bitch that's like a paraplegic, right? Like if she's a paraplegic, she has to give good head.
I mean, that's her only, like,
right, like there's
last
no
skill.
other way.
That's like the last skill she
has to be like numb down there, capable of like, you know, fucking leaving that shit in her esophagus for intense amounts of time, right? There's no other way.
Need me a disabled chick, disabled Shawty.
We all need a disabled Shawty in our lives. Shout out the disabled Shawty community.
That is such a base-ass way to start.
I've been thinking about this.
But listen, bro. Disabled chicks need love too, bro.
Absolutely.
Fuck out of here with all that discrimination.
Absolutely.
V&A respects all the disabled shawties out there.
You ever seen like some... you remember that Shane Gillis when he did the Trump impersonation? Sure. He was over there on this show called Kill Tony.
Kill Tony.
And he was dressed up as Trump, and there was another guy dressed up as Biden. And
Adam Ray as Biden.
All these comedians came in, and they were all bombing, and they would just make fun of them and shit. Mm-hmm. And one guy that came out, he had like T-Rex arms and shit. Right. He was like tiny, fucked up. He was born without an asshole and shit. And
respect to that guy, bro.
Anyway, what I was just saying is like, what about a bitch with like T-Rex arms? How do you feel about T-Rex arm bitches? Because if you have like a small cock, she could really boost your self-esteem.
Right.
You know,
small hands.
She could definitely have a huge impact. I'm telling you,
a huge impact.
And
trying to think of other like disability chicks.
Well, there's all types.
That's the thing, right?
First of all, you could get a chick with Parkinson's, right?
Oh god.
So she's like involuntarily shaking. So you just like fucking duct tape and lube up.
Just put your dick, leave your dick on your
and she'll just be shaking up. She'll give you an involuntary hand job. I mean, it's amazing. She can't get tired because she has Parkinson's shit. It's not like she has a choice, you know?
Parkinson's is wild, man.
How about like some light disabilities, right? Like
let's take
something lighter. So for example, like how about a chick with asthma, right? So she needs like she'll be having her inhaler as you fuck her.
Yeah.
And that can be sort of a turn on if you're into nerdy chicks, you know, like a bitch with an inhaler as you're fucking her, if you will.
Having asthma is crazy, bro. You have asthma?
I had it when I was a kid. It went away when I was like 4.
It went away? It goes away?
Yeah, childhood asthma. It's just it was there and then it fucking disappeared.
Oh shit, that's crazy. I'm thinking of another disabled shawty. Like,
there's all types, bro. There's I mean, think about it. I'm thinking about this, right? Say she's missing her legs, right?
Oh lord.
If she's missing her legs, bro,
Wheelchair
there's nothing in the way.
That's so
There's nothing in the way, bro. You can penetrate that shit ad infinitum, right?
Like the insertion is just right there.
And you can carry her however you want and just go up and down. Like there's no leg movement.
She might actually love that.
Of course she would.
Like that'll be the most airtime she'll have.
Absolutely.
Damn.
Absolutely. Stupendous.
Damn, you'll make her feel like on top of the world, fam.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Respect.
You could even spin her around and shit like a yo-yo or some shit, you know, and it'll be hilarious, you know.
Oh man. I mean, there is always the mental ones, but we don't want to.
No, the mental ones are great. The mental ones are. I mean, what's your favorite psychological disorder in a bitch to fuck? I mean, if you really want to go down that road, I'm gonna skip the borderline personality disorder just because you don't know what the fuck that bitch is gonna do.
Right.
And a stabbing seems likely in that scenario. Yeah. Right.
Red flag.
I'm gonna avoid that one.
What are you going with? Schizo?
Avoid the narcissistic. But just in terms of a hooker, I mean, I guess a good one would be someone who's like this is getting good. Let me think here. I mean, I'm thinking about, because I know what type of personality I'm thinking of. I just can't remember the name of the disorder right now. It's just basically like very.
Is a midget a disability? Technically?
Yeah, dwarf. But a dwarf is too obvious, you know. That's like when I talk about midget
that's
porn.
That's the cliche. Yeah.
You know, that's like, everything's tiny. See, that one could also boost your self-esteem, right? Because even if you got a small... Well, no, they're kind of thick. I mean, if you got a midget with a fat ass, you might even feel worse if you got a small cock.
A midget calling your dick small is crazy.
Because all that thickness in the middle of your tiny little. I mean, that is terrifying to a man who's born with 3 inches, bro. If you're born with that Asian stereotype cock,
yeah,
you know that is a truly something that can fuck with a man if he's not careful, right?
Dude, I never get to lay down. Like, this is great.
Well, feel free to lay down.
Slouch back, guys. Me and Ape switched to no homo, no diddy positions.
We should have said no diddy way before.
But back to disabled shawties. I mean, yeah, we did say dwarf.
What I'm thinking is, what would it be like to do anal with a chick that has one ass cheek? You know what I mean?
Just one Ape?
Just one. If she has one ass cheek, right?
Somebody's calling me. Hold up.
This is more important.
Oh, it is. Go.
Have priority.
My bad. Go ahead.
Told you. You gotta have priorities in life, right? And if she's missing one ass cheek, you could just put her you just put her to the side, right?
But wait, how would that look aesthetically? So like, there's just a missing.
I'm fixing that for you right now. I'm giving you the solution here. This is
hard to visualize this.
All right, look. All right. Let's say that her left ass cheek is missing. Her right ass cheek is there. We got boom, full on, just wow, boom. You know, just boom. Incredible one ass cheek, right? It's like 2 ass cheeks in one. Hence the missing ass cheek, right? So basically, what you do is you put her in a position. You put her on the side, right? Okay. And so the side that's closest to the floor is the one where the missing ass cheek is. Allows for easy penetration. It gives you a good visual view of that one thick ass cheek.
Still kind of seems like she has the full ass cheeks.
Absolutely.
While she's on the side.
Tremendous. It's perfect.
That's actually great thinking, bro.
Oh, it's genius.
Okay.
It's genius. I mean, you got to experiment with these disabled shawties.
3 titties.
3 titties is an incredible thing, but I wouldn't want them to be double D's, you know, if they're that big, you know, I feel like it would be they definitely would, you know, get in the way.
2 is already,
because the problem is when there's 2, like you just scrunch them up together, right?
Yeah.
You scrunch up some big titties together.
Dude, I smashed a chick not so long ago that had some huge titties. It was like my first. Well, what did I say? It's my first time smashing a chick with huge. Like
how huge?
Pretty big, bro. Like, I grabbed them things and they were heavy.
Yeah.
The heavies, like, literally. No pun intended, my boy. Like, them things was... I've grabbed a bunch of titties in my life, but those were like... No, it was great. It was great, but... I just never... just had to announce it. Like, it was great.
Are we dealing with big areolas?
Big areolas,
I want big areolas if tits are that big.
Oh, for sure. If they're small and the tits are huge, that'll look odd, right?
I mean, I'll suck them, but... I still prefer big areolas to little areolas.
Oh, no, for sure, man.
It's much more feminine.
Not even that. It just looks better.
Of course it looks better. It's more feminine.
True. But, I mean, they could be feminine without the areolas if they're not that.
The ass could be feminine. Everything else can be feminine, but it'll just look like some dude's nipples if she's really just a flat-chested chick with small areolas, right?
I see your point.
I mean, you don't want to feel like you just, you know, you
Shout out to the chicks with the A cups, though.
I respect you.
You know what I mean? We love them.
Absolutely.
We need them.
Shout out to the Asian chicks with A cups who put in the hard work to try to give tit jobs knowing they still can't do it.
You'd be surprised. I feel like the Asian community the titty has increased.
We're talking about A cup Asian chicks.
Gotcha.
Now, they will still put in the work, but to no avail. And you got to admire the effort.
I feel like Asian chicks put in work.
Well, exactly.
It's just like based off their like growing up in communist China.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's just how they were raised. Like everything is hard work. So the dick is hard work. Fucking's hard work.
That might be the only thing you can give Mao credit for.
That he actually made
all of
these
that,
Asians have better sex.
Just program these bitches into being good at fucking,
Okay. Interesting.
Respect.
Shout out to Mao, dog.
Relax. There's no need for that. But listen.
The struggle sessions are going on, as James Lindsay would say.
Well, the struggle sessions are always going on. There's always commies on the internet and outside the internet trying to get motherfuckers to, you know, fucking...
The chick of the Olympics, she said sorry.
Which one?
The chick that lost.
The chick that lost said sorry after a man pummeled her. And he says he's not a man because he's intersex or some bullshit like that.
There's a whole... there's a weird thing going on where I can't even tell what is this misinformation or whichever. One side is saying that this person has XY chromosomes, that the IBA disqualified her a while ago because of that, so technically...
Clearly didn't get disqualified, I mean...
Well, not in the Olympics, but in... And then there's this whole other side that's saying, no, she's actually a female, this and that. I'm like, I just don't know. Now, she's apparently, I don't know, this could be wrong, this could be fucking misinformation. Apparently, she's trying to come after people who were, like, lying about her and this and that. But anyway, I bring that up to say, the struggle session, that everybody made her feel bad, made her feel like she was wrong. And she fucking...
I mean, what did she say anything after that?
She apologized, officially, for everything that she was... I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up if you want.
I don't know what the fuck she has to apologize. What?
No, me either. I don't know. That was bullshit. But the internet made her feel bad, pressured her, and pretty much she apologized. What is it? Imani?
They gave her a struggle session, and she gave into the struggle session.
That's what I brought that up for, because that's kind of what it is, right?
You never give into the struggle session.
You never give into the...
Because once you give in, they have you by the balls.
Yeah, dude. I feel like a lot of people... You think Joe Rogan gave up to the struggle session?
Did.
He did, in a sense, right? He did say sorry. He did make a video. Yeah, you're right.
He did make an apology video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would Mao do exactly? He would have people like laughing at them or making them feel a certain way.
He would do all types of shit. If you were incarcerated and you were being struggled, what they would do is they would lock you up in like this place, and they would have all types of people that had already been struggled themselves and shit. And what they would
programmed.
They were like taught to do this shit to other people.
Right.
And so they would get you in there, and they'd ask you to confess to your crimes, and no matter how much you confessed, it'd still be like, oh no, you haven't confessed to your real crime. You haven't been honest with us.
Motherfuckers want you to pretty much lie.
They want you to fucking
come up with some shit.
They want you to come up in your mind with this conception of, I did something horrible, I don't know what it is, and I have to say that I did something horrible and figure out what it is, and I have to get myself to believe it even though it didn't happen, and then maybe
if he wants,
they'll stop electrocuting my balls, right?
Or start fucking feeding me fucking whatever the fuck, rocks and shit.
Yeah, so that type of shit.
That's insane, man. No, I only bring it up because I seen James tweeting that, and I understood it now. I was like, oh damn, so that's what the struggle session meant. Even though I kind of already understood what it meant, but I was like, damn, that's kind of what Shorty.
They had great struggle sessions in Cuba. My father went through struggle sessions in Cuba where they went up to our own fucking household. And we're there, and they were fucking just yelling, have fucking machetes and shit. These are people that you know. They're the people from your own neighborhood.
Nah, right. That's the idea, right? That's why it works.
That's a huge reason. That's a huge factor. Either that, or you have to be isolated from everybody you know.
Oh damn.
And then you're told either that they've done horrible things to people that you love, and it's your fault. Or they could do terrible things to people that you love, and it'll be your fault. Or the people that you love have said that you're a piece of shit, and here are the letters that they all signed by force, of course, to declare that you're a piece of shit.
And you read them, and you're thinking, "Oh damn,
holy fuck, yeah."
That's a boatload, my boy.
So the psychological aspect is by far the strongest part of this. Right.
Damn.
What it really is meant to do is sort of indoctrinate and brainwash a person into complying with something they know is brutal.
Did your pops ever comply?
No.
In any form? Damn.
Why do you think we left the fucking
No, of course. Did he ever speak about, like, what else did they try to do to him?
Other than the struggle session?
Yeah, if you want to talk about it.
I mean, they took away his jobs as an electrical engineer. They not only did they take away his job, I mean, they started fucking... I mean, even with my older brother, who was in school there, they would start fucking with him in school, like the professors and
specifically
they would try to get they target your children
artificially,
right?
Like,
yeah, they go after that.
damn.
Right, so they start targeting you, your family. They try to go after whatever it is that you love the most.
Yeah, to break you.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
And that's basically what it is. They also they didn't allow him to like live anywhere after a while, which is when things really got bad. So he was at the point where like, all right, well they don't let me, fucking live anywhere. They don't allow me to go and
do what I want to do. My job.
So he was at the point where he was basically gonna go in front of the U.S. embassy in Cuba and fucking pull up a goddamn a mat or some shit like that and just sleep there in protest.
Pretty much.
Saying they won't let me. That was the
last hope type thing. Last resort.
Yeah.
Jesus, bro. That's deep.
So that was how far it went.
God damn, bro.
Because part of the reason why they were after him is because he was trying to do shit in a way that was pretty democratic. He wasn't trying to use any violent means or anything like that.
No revolutionary.
What he was doing is getting signatures.
Right.
For the most part. So signatures in opposition. Signatures of people who are saying openly, I'm against this fucking government. Here we are. This is what we're doing.
Damn.
And he also wanted to start an organization, and the organization he followed. Actually, a lot of his friends were Masons. He's an engineer, so of course it's.
Damn, for real?
Yeah. So and there's a lot of Masons in Cuba. I mean, but one of the things that he gathered from them, because one of his friends who was a Mason, he ended up giving him like this. It was like a book or a pamphlet or some shit like that Masons had. And it talked about how in the lodge they don't discuss politics or religion.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And so he wanted to do that for his group. So he appealed to do that. Of course, they wouldn't let him. Right? You got to have the revolution here before everything. The revolution is everywhere. You can't get away from the revolution.
Fuck.
So that's an interesting case.
Damn, dude. Shout out to your pops, man.
Respect.
That's super dope. Fucking fuck ass Fidel.
Hit me.
Huh?
With a topic or some shit. Hit me with something.
Oh yeah, I was actually gonna bring in Venezuela, since we're talking about communism and shit. Might as well.
Yeah.
The pussy man Maduro.
This is an incredible guy, Maduro. Right?
I mean, guys, if you probably know by now, this dude.
He's a dictator.
He's a dictator. He's gonna rig the elections. We get it.
He rigged the elections. As you can tell, people are not pleased by him rigging the elections.
Actually, the U.S. actually said something officially stating that they're not happy with what he did.
Oh, no, at this point, they've gone, as far as I can tell, far enough to say that that the election was rigged.
No, they admitted it. They pulled out the results, or they shown that the dude who was running against him had way more. Dude, he had like 70% of the votes. Some crazy amount. Maduro only had like 25 to 30.
Wasn't it a woman, though?
No, it was a man.
It was a man?
Yeah. Something Gonzalez.
All right, but definitely the case that this motherfucker is a goddamn dictator, rigging elections, going about. I'm sure Treasy would disagree.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, the Treasy update. Shout out to Treasy if he's listening.
Yeah.
But I'm just only saying because I see him on Instagram. Mans is in Cuba spewing the good communism word, dog.
Jesus Christ. Must be unbearable, the meetings he's going to right now.
Rocking a Che shirt.
Oh God!
Pulling up to all the spots where there's any type of a communist lover. We're talking.
I mean it's Cuba. I mean you could go anywhere and people will be like, yeah, dude, it's great. And
right.
It's like you got a gun to their head.
Man loves Jose Marti. He's like a big fan.
I mean,
of that
Jose
guy.
Marti was not a communist, and
I don't know what's his thing with him, but he always posts a picture like of
nobody in Cuba's gonna deny. Nobody in Cuba, no matter what political side,
deny the greatness of him.
Is gonna go against Jose Marti.
Right? Wasn't he like a poet or some shit?
He was a lot of things.
Okay, jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Even actually lived in New York for about, I think, like over a decade.
Jose Marti?
Yeah.
Word?
Yeah.
He was a citizen?
I don't know if he was a citizen.
Oh, shut up.
He definitely lived in the United States for in New York for various years, and
so he spoke English and shit, I'm assuming.
He did speak English, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And,
dope. I didn't know that.
At any rate, yeah, he was hugely instrumental in, getting Cuba to be its own country, apart from Spain.
What year was Jose Marti big? Was this like the 50s?
This is This is like the late 1800s.
Okay, I was off.
Yeah.
Okay, damn. I don't know about that. I don't know much about Jose Marti. But no, back to Maduro. Fucking yeah, bro. What is there to say, bro? This guy is a fucking goofy. The VNA pod does not respect him.
Right.
I mean, he's very...
We've established this.
The man's a clown, bro. He's talking about Elon Musk.
Maduro, the hookers you fuck are pieces of shit.
Just
right?
What is he doing talking about Elon, bro? Like, what? It's just so cringe, bro. He's talking about Elon wants to bring rockets or some based ass shit. Like,
first of all, does he know how expensive that shit is when Elon does it?
Like, what is he talking about?
Why would they need Elon for a rocket?
This man is so lost, bro.
This has nothing to do with what the fuck Elon does. We already have rockets that could, strike this motherfucker.
Yeah, why would we need Venezuela in any form or fashion?
I don't know what the fuck he's on about. He's just paranoid.
Yeah.
He's paranoid.
Yeah, no, I know. And
the man can't think clearly. Everyone in his country is after his ass.
And it's only because Elon's on the platform spewing like, oh, fuck Maduro and this and that. He called him a donkey.
He is.
Of course he is.
He's an ass.
Of course. But it's just funny. I was going to say, I just remembered something. We were talking about Elon having too much control over on Twitter, or like the possibility of that happening. Oh no, and we were talking about him on showing his the support he has for Trump. You thought that was wrong.
Well, I don't think he needs to openly do that on the platform. I think it's a bad idea. I think it sets the precedent of possible manipulation of people.
Yeah, but if it was somebody that was running as a communist or like extremely, would you care then?
If it was the position that Elon Musk had, of course I would.
No, but I'm saying if he was like against it, because let's just say like he's like,
it doesn't matter if he's pro or against it. I mean, it's
regardless.
Just the fact that he's announcing a candidate, and of course he's in charge of the platform. Like, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm not saying that he should be banned from doing it or that it should be illegal for him to do it.
You just think morally it's not.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good precedent to set, because then, first of all, this is going to influence a lot of people who are going to end up it's going to end up on the other side.
I only bring up the communism thing because what happened if it's like in a sense of that, like promoting or like talking about things like that.
You mean the owner?
Yeah.
I mean, of course I'd be against it. Why wouldn't I be?
Even if it's something that you're completely against. Because it's the owner. Regardless, the owner should just keep his mouth shut.
It's way easier to say that I don't want it if I'm against it.
No, but I'm just... Do you understand what I'm asking you? I'm saying, like, since you think it's right, you don't think it's morally right that he's doing whatever he's doing, got it. Now I'm saying, what happened if it's in the sense of, like... If it's in the sense of promoting that, like, communism is bad, let's just say, for an example. Would you say it's bad still then, morally?
For him to promote that communism is wrong?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think it's wrong?
No.
Though?
There's no election about whether or not you can allow communism, although you could debate that.
My debate was that, let's say it's a candidate that's like, he's a fucking full-blown communist, hypothetically. Let's just say, like...
I think he could talk about how communism is bad. I don't think he has to...
But don't pick a side as the owner of the platform.
I think you can talk about how terrible ideas are.
Okay. Gotcha. That's all I wanted to ask.
And I'm not even completely 100% on this argument that I'm making right now. It's just
for the sake of the pod. I got
it's
it.
just what I think in the spur of the moment. It's just what I think. I haven't really thought deeply about that idea. So.
No, it's an interesting take because it is interesting because he is the owner. He has extreme fucking influence and he's powerful. He's the fucking owner of it. He could.
Right.
So I get it in that point.
So.
My thing was just in the degree if it's on a situation that we know 100% it's evil, would it then be okay? But that was my point, brother. But yeah, Maduro's a gay man. Shout out to him.
I always knew that little mustache was sus.
Yeah, for sure, bro. He's I don't know. He gives me like, I feel like dictators are just like dudes who got beat up when they were younger.
He definitely got his ass pounded.
Definitely got destroyed when they were younger. A bottom. And they want to just take over. They just want to make people's life.
He would love to go to one of Diddy's parties. Let me tell you.
Oh, the Maduro Diddy combo.
Oh,
that would. That's a dangerous scene out there. But no, I do think that though. I think people who are maybe dictators had a traumatic childhood.
Maybe.
What's a reason why they even do something like that?
I don't think you're gonna find this complete commonality among them. I mean,
nothing. You don't think so?
I mean,
there has to be something.
The problem is that a lot of the dictators that we think of recently were born in an era where it was much more common for dads to be dicks.
Sure.
Right, and it was much more common for dads to be just alcoholics that would beat the fuck out of you.
Right, it was the common.
So that sort of thing. Like, and there's huge differences. Like, for example, like Fidel Castro, he was a bastard. Right.
Man had daddy issues.
Yeah. And then when it comes to a guy like Hitler, I mean, his dad is fucking brutal.
We've heard about that, yeah.
Punched the fuck out of him. You know, he was a brutal motherfucker, right? He was
so they probably did.
And his mom was like the opposite of that. His mom was like the sweetest. So it was complete opposites, which is, you'd think it would balance out. It does not. It just creates instability as to what people are like. And so he went about with that. And to be fair, I mean, when he did go to World War I, he actually did get, medals for bravery and shit like that. So he did walk the walk. And he was actually very pissed off in recovering from an injury.
You're talking about Hitler, right?
Yeah, he was actually pissed off in recovering from an injury when they gave up in World War I, and he was just heated as fuck. He's like, bitch, you don't give up. And then his huge misinterpretation of Nietzsche. Misinterpretation of Nietzsche, one sense in which they misinterpreted Nietzsche was they thought they I don't know if they explicitly mentioned it that way, but they got from Nietzsche's idea of the Übermensch, of the Superman, they got this concept that what he actually meant was something about eugenics, as though he was making a biological argument.
That's how he interpreted it?
Right. That's how the Nazis interpreted it, right? And
that's interesting.
And so when you think about a guy like Nietzsche, he wasn't talking about eugenics. He was talking about not a new biological species of man, but a man who has put aside all of the bullshit and dogma of past morality and, sees his own morality.
Sure.
That he generates, that he makes. He's an end in himself. He doesn't need God to justify his existence. He doesn't need someone else's morality to figure out how to act. He can create this by himself, right? And he doesn't want followers. That's just a burden to have all these fucking idiots around you. It's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Wash my dishes?
Sure.
And so
that was his point of the Ubermensch.
He saw as the Ubermensch as somebody who overcame all of this previous bullshit and dogma of thousands of years of failed morality that never managed to create an objective account of what the fuck it is that we're doing. And he says that all of these philosophers were lying to themselves. They pretend to want truth. They don't want no fucking truth. No. What they want is to create the world in their own image.
The way they want?
And that's what their philosophy is. It's the recreation of the world in their own image.
So Hitler was fucked up. He was like reading the shit wrong. Or maybe he just got influence from it and was like, you know what?
No, it's possible that they knew exactly what they were reading and they just...
He said, fuck it. Like,
they just enhanced it to Nazi ideology. Like, this is good, but let's bring some eugenics into this. Let's bring some Jew killing into this. Which, of course, I mean, obviously, Nietzsche was against anti-Semitism.
Was Nietzsche Jewish?
Nietzsche was German.
Okay.
Which is why Hitler loved him.
Ah.
And...
the connection.
And there were a lot, but don't get me wrong, it's not like they didn't understand Nietzsche. There were incredible
I'm sure Hitler wasn't a dickhead either.
Well, he was definitely a dick.
Yeah, but he was, I mean, in a sense, he wasn't like an idiot. He was smart.
No, he wasn't an idiot by any means. Yeah. But he wasn't a philosopher. But there were prominent philosophers, some of the greatest philosophers of the past century that were in Germany that ended up becoming parts of the Nazi party and shit like that. And this is, I mean, they understood exactly what the message was, and they were reading it. And they were reading it in the original language because German is a very difficult language to translate accurately.
I've heard about that.
So this is somewhat of a problem, but it's clear that Nietzsche wasn't talking about an Übermensch in the way of somebody that's biologically enhanced in any way. He's not talking about a new species. He also didn't see himself as an Übermensch.
When people talk of Holocaust deniers, what do they mean exactly? Are Holocaust deniers people who deny the Holocaust itself or deny the exaggeration of the numbers?
Well, it depends. I mean, I think both of them are instances that people refer to it, right? I mean, you can see people saying that you're a Holocaust denier for various reasons. One of them,
but do Holocaust deniers like not respect Hitler, but do they like revere him in a sense, or?
I mean, it depends. I think for the most part, most circles that are actually involved in it, they probably are not very friendly to Jews, right?
Gotcha.
But a lot of them are referred to as Holocaust deniers either because they deny that the reason why so many Jews died had anything to do with concentration camp and mass murder shit, and that it had a lot more to do with typhus, right? With them dying from a disease.
That's what it's called?
They claim that, right?
The fuck is that?
That's just a disease that was going on back then, and it was taking out people and shit. Oh. Which some of them did die from that, but they wouldn't have died from that if the conditions weren't so fucking barbaric, and you didn't have fucking people working, drinking what basically amounts to a little bit of boiled water, and a slice of bread every other day.
Right.
Anybody would get typhus like that, right? And the other situation is denying the number of it. For example, some people will go around and say, no, it was like, some people will say some bullshit like, oh, it was 100,000 at best, right? I mean,
that's crazy.
And then some people say it wasn't more than 1 million. I mean,
didn't more Russians die in that war?
Yes.
That's crazy. There is a lot of fucking Russian people, though, right?
I mean, there's less Russians than Americans.
I think the number of Russians that died was 7 million.
I think it was greater than that. But I'm not sure. Who knows? I'm not a fucking historian or any of that shit. But the point is this. I mean, I do know that when the Nazis came in and invaded Russia, they would go in through these villages and they would just start fucking murdering everybody in that bitch. Just kill all these motherfuckers. And they would go to the next village, do the same fucking thing, right? And so Stalin just basically gave the villagers and everybody just gave them a strap and just had them fight.
They gave who? Stalin?
Stalin just gave the
everybody.
The people that were there on the, because he knew, he's like, oh no, they're not worried about me. They're worried about Hitler because he's gonna come and kill all of them, and they know it.
Right.
Let me just give them a strap and just let them, fucking kill each other in the cold wilderness before they even get here. And by that time, the Nazis are gonna be so depleted and fucked. Mm. And since I'll never surrender, I'll be fine. And it worked out because it's basically the same mistake that Napoleon did. When Napoleon tried to invade Russia, he ended up in a situation where he made it all the way to Moscow, to the capital and shit, and they had burned everything. And the actual like place where the Tsar was gonna stay, he left it empty. He wasn't there. They burned all of like the food and the crops and everything on the way over there. And then it was just him in the middle of the fucking winter.
But nothing.
And Napoleon is like, fuck. There's no food. There's no one here.
We just wasted all the resources.
What are we gonna do now? So he fucked. He was fucked.
No way.
It's very difficult to invade a place like Russia. I mean, it's like fighting a war in the North Pole, you know?
Damn.
Especially in the winter. This is a huge problem, is the timing.
Is Russia like one of the coldest places on Earth type shit? Damn, dude. Fuck that. Are you a fan of the cold or the heat?
Not that level of cold.
Fucking Nazis, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened if fucking Hitler would have won? You think he would have took over the world?
I mean, if he wins the war, he by definition took over the world. It was a world war.
Right.
So that would have meant that Germany just beat the entire world in a war.
That would have been crazy. That would have been impossible.
It would have been...
It just can't have it.
Wild. I mean, first of all, who were the allies of
Germany?
Of Germany. It was Japan.
Of course.
Which their greatest, you know...
Them motherfuckers fight.
Oh, they definitely fight.
They fought to the end, bro.
Bro, they had the kamikazes, which were terrifying.
They originated that shit. Suicide is part of their culture.
Pearl Harbor traumatized so many American soldiers because they saw motherfuckers in planes that they thought, oh, they're gonna throw something at us. No, motherfucker, the plane is what they're throwing at you. That dude is on a suicide mission. And when you compete, I mean, people do not tend to have that level
of camaraderie for their...
It's that level of commitment to where your life is less important than whatever mission you're on. That is...
next level.
Yeah.
That's some brainwashing for real.
The other ones are countries like... there's a lot of Arabic countries and shit, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's their culture, too.
And a lot of them sided with Hitler.
Is that fucked up to say?
What?
That's their culture?
Those countries sided with Hitler?
No, that's their culture.
Some Arabic countries did side with Hitler. That's
No, that's their culture.
Like Nazism is their culture?
No, Nazism, bro. Like, going on suicide missions.
Well, I don't know if the Arabs were going on suicide missions in that era.
Okay.
I think they were just...
It's a stereotype.
I don't know. But the suicide mission shit came a lot further in the later decades.
Right.
Especially in the 80s and shit like that. Because later on, after the World War II was over, you know, the Soviet Union actually did invade the Middle East. For 10 years, they left. The United States was pretty much going in there after the Soviet Union, trying to prevent the Soviet Union from taking over any of those territories, and sort of arming a whole bunch of like Muslim crazy jihadist militias to try to get rid of the Soviets. You got rid of the Soviets and you ended up with people like bin Laden, who were armed, groups of jihadists who were trained.
Is bin Laden the same dude that worked for the CIA?
He did. When he worked for the CIA, it's not like he fucking worked here in the United States.
Sure.
His work with the CIA was basically in that. It was it was what he was doing to try to get rid of the Soviets. As far as I know, I can't think of anything else that he did with the CIA.
Right. I always thought that was sus.
Yeah.
What were we talking about before all this?
We're talking about midgets with one ass cheek and how you fuck them in the ass.
On the side of the bed only.
The ass is so tight on a midget.
I don't know about anal though, bro.
What don't you know?
I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
I've never done it. You've ever done anal?
Yeah.
You've done it before?
I did it today.
Shut the fuck up, babe.
No, I did.
Wow, I respect you, dog. How'd it go?
It went great, actually. She was very clean.
Yeah, but isn't it really tight?
I know, it was fucking amazing.
Does it feel good, though?
Honestly, at that point, I felt better in the pussy. Because when you get the contrast from switching to the pussy and you get in the ass, bro. The other thing is...
It can't be good, bro.
The other thing is...
How is it good, bro?
No, wait. Hear me out. The other thing is it's a struggle for this bitch.
Right.
Because she's pretending like this is all right. It's like, but there's a cock going in where shit is supposed to come out.
Is that even enjoyable?
Absolutely. It was amazing.
I don't know, Ape.
It was amazing.
I don't know how I could. I think I tried it to do it once.
You just don't want to do it with like somebody who doesn't, who you don't want to do it with some chick who just ate McDonald's.
Oh, I mean.
And barely wiped her ass. You know
right. That would be a scary sight.
Because you're just gonna be, but no, you don't want to just go in there, bro. You open the ass cheeks, you lick that shit, right?
Sure.
You start licking. When you lick the asshole,
it opens up.
You go as deep as you can. Give that shit a little swirl in there. Man. Just give it a little swirl.
If you keep smashing a chick through anally, does her anal hole open up forever? For real, I've seen porno videos where bitches' anal holes are just, yo.
You talking about bitches that have like gapes and shit like that?
Shit, I don't know about gapes, but shit looks crazy. I'm like, yo.
Like you can see the intestines and
shit. Like it be open. I'm like, yo, fam. Like,
yes.
How many cock's been in there?
I don't know how she gets that. You know, maybe it might have something to do with like not enough lube or some shit, but definitely if you go in that bitch, bro, like that is.
Dude, anal has always been I'm not against it. I just
There's such a great point where you know how deep in that bitch you are.
That's just crazy. And then nutting in her anally?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
That's just insane, bro.
Yeah, it is.
The idea of that. I don't know. I always thought, like, I feel like vagina would just feel better. It's more of like a...
Give it a shot. Literally.
Give it a shot. I'll think about it. Fuck.
It's fucking tremendous.
You think we're scaring the hoes with this podcast?
Eating ass is amazing, bro.
You think it's amazing?
It's amazing.
I mean, it's cool.
No. It's amazing.
You think it's better than eating pussy?
No, I think you need to do both.
You think it's like
You need to start with the pussy.
Sure.
You got to do both.
See, I would only do that with a chick that I'm like.
Really?
Very.
You wouldn't do that with a crack whore? who offered you pussy for $30?
Exactly. But
I'm shocked.
Yeah, yeah, dude, anal's what else can you do? Is there any other holes you can stick it in?
I mean, the other holes are controversial.
Right.
And very tiny and
dick in the ear is crazy.
Dick in the ear is just unpleasant for both parties.
Dick in the nose.
Undesirable. For the most part. With some few crazy fucks out there.
Yeah. Maybe you could implement a hole, like drill a hole in a bitch.
I don't want. You want extra holes?
Yeah. Like I'm asking, like.
But the extra hole has to be as good as the first 3 holes that we're talking about here.
If you had to pick, no, it'll be like a different sensation.
Yeah.
Since it's like.
It's a different sensation because it's.
It's hypothetical too, but.
Okay.
So, where would you put the hole?
That's a good question.
If you had to strategically.
Bro, if I had to strategically, I would place the hole in the palm of her hand just because of how easy it would be to her to just flap that shit up and down. Like, could you imagine a pussy in her hand? Right? That'd be way... I mean, she...
And the vagina just stretches through her arm.
It would be so much easier for her to... Shit, bitches would become such experts at that shit instantly.
Damn, that would be crazy.
Instantly. They'd be... I mean, this shit would be better than throat game, bro. I'm telling you. It would change everything.
Damn.
Because she could... Bro, with her hand, she could do the movements that you couldn't even imagine her doing with her face.
The hand pussy, dude.
I mean, think about it. When she's giving you head, she's moving her brain constantly, bro. Right? This is an issue.
It is a problem.
You could overcome that issue with the hand.
The hand isn't as annoying. It's immediate, like...
She could make that shit swirl in a million different directions. You know? She'll look like some bitch doing kung fu.
She'll have to, like, hide the hand, though, like, in public, though, because then she'll just have the pussy out.
Bitches will just be wearing gloves and shit, you know?
Damn, yeah.
Can I see your hand hole? Damn, you know, like, that'll be a...
That'll be the new...
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know where else. I'm really thinking of another spot to put the hole. I mean, I was thinking foot.
You could put a foot hole.
That could work as the hand as well.
That could work.
I think the foot would actually be even easier.
It'd be it wouldn't be as easy as the hand.
Well, it wouldn't be easy as the hand.
It'd be harder because she might be getting a cramp.
That's the thing, yeah.
You know?
Depending on how we're positioned, and
she'd have to be more fit to be able to do it, because that'd be like using a bicycle. You know, that'd be like doing
unless you just lay down on the floor on your back, and then she just like steps on your dick. With
she
the
could
foot
just
pussy.
step on your dick up and down. She could
the
do
pussy,
that.
The foot pussy.
The foot pussy is amazing.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, if you're a foot fetish person, it's like you got like a double win.
But that would make the foot look retarded if you're a foot guy.
True. So it would kill it.
The hand, not so much. I mean, there's a lot more guys that are in his sucking toes than hands.
True.
And so, no, definitely the hand pussy, I think, is the big winner in this occasion.
Right. All right, I'll give it to you, yeah. The hand is, though. I'm glad we discussed something important.
The shoulder is an odd place to place it.
Falling into the dick?
But it would be a nice place for, well, I think a good place might be between the tits. Right? So you could, like, feel her pulse as you fuck her. Right?
Her heartbeat and shit.
And you have tremendous eye contact as you're dripping sweat down this bitch, right?
Yo, that would be insane, though.
Yeah.
Feeling her heartbeat while giving shots in there? That's love for real.
Really? He has to really trust you to let her fuck her chest hole.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, that really is bringing a new definition to the term, my heart belongs to you. I mean, that is...
Right there.
Motherfucker, bitches would stop saying, you know, that they give great head, but they give... They got a great heart.
Yeah.
That heart game is on point.
Damn, babe. Yeah, I love in that heart.
Yeah.
Give me some heart. No, I was telling you earlier if we're scaring the hoes with this podcast.
Well, then, I mean, that's fine.
That's fine? Just a random thought.
I mean, listen. Ladies, if you're...
Don't be scared.
If you're scared of us considering a chest hole to fuck you in...
Listen. N APE is here.
Then perhaps, you know, you're a reasonable person for not wanting to have a chest hole that you're fucked in. Perhaps you're also just a selfish cunt. Have you ever considered that, ladies? Have you ever...
Yeah, you could be doing a service to
the
a lot
amount
of men.
of pleasure that you could provide.
And you're blocking that blessing?
The absolute audacity of this bitch to
How
turn off from the podcast and be turned off by the thought of being fucked in her chest cavity.
Right.
Yeah, no. I completely stand in solidarity with everybody that wants to fuck a chest cavity.
I respect it.
Good. All right, now that we've established that. God damn, you look stoned.
I'm actually not that stoned.
You look stoned. You look like a fucking stoner.
I'm cold as fuck.
What's it like being a fucking stoner?
Listen, life's great, bro.
What if I asked you sober?
So that would be life's great. I've been thinking about...
Would it be as great?
If I was sober?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Really?
I just think it enhances it. It enhances moments. I wouldn't say...
Wait, so it makes moments better?
I wouldn't say it enhances life.
It doesn't make life better. It makes whatever moment you're in better.
Yeah.
But doesn't that enhance life in general?
I mean, it could, sure.
So it's life enhancing.
Yeah.
Well, that's your philosophy of weed. There we go. We got it.
That's all it is, bro, honestly.
What are the aesthetics of weed? What do you think is how
First of all, it's beautiful. Like, when you get some really, like, loud weed, some really good shit.
Do you like stoner chicks? Do you like getting head from a chick that has, like, very dry throat after all that weed she smoked? Like, she's fucking, she has cotton mouth. She's giving you that cotton mouth head.
I mean, I don't mind it.
Your dick is like drier after she sucks it, you know?
Nah, man, she could drink some water or some shit. But
how good is her throat? How willing is she? I mean, I'm sure her throat is numb from the weed, but
the cottonmouth do be killing. But no preference, honestly, bro. But it's like, I think you, like anybody, if you have interest with somebody else, it's obviously gonna be a easier connection.
Right, because you would both share that interest. So there would be, like, nobody's bothered by the fact that there's weed in the air. It's just we both enjoy it.
And not even. I mean, I've had chicks that don't smoke, and I smoke only, so it's not even an issue. I wouldn't mind.
I mean, but how much do they care?
I don't think they do.
Like, if it's that prominent, do you think there might be an issue? If it was like constant, like every time she sees you, there's a blunt being rolled?
Bro, if I'm paying all the bills and everything's being paid, let's just say...
I mean, if she needs you, then that's a different story.
Not that she needs me, but like let's just say I do that, right?
If you do that...
I provide for my wife, okay. Right? I mean, even if she works, let's say she works too, but I provide, let's say I pay all the bills. We have a kid. And I'm just a huge stoner. I don't think that's gonna bother.
You think
I think situations make people act or make people change their...
I mean, I think that it really just depends on the chick. I mean, there's chicks out there that'll be like, oh my fucking God, bro. We have a kid and you're still smoking weed or whatever. And then there's other chicks that'll be like, well, just try to keep it away from the kid or whatever, you know? Just don't.
Right, yeah. I mean, there is that. There is gonna always be some that... But no, I think only chicks start to trip out like if you're a good husband in all aspects and you have, let's say, a weed vice.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the end of it, you know what I mean?
Again, it just depends on the chick.
But it depends on the chick as well. Some chicks, obviously, it all depends, so. Well, I was going to bring up some weird shit. Let me see if I could find some, but that is interesting, though, that you asked that. But I would probably want I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I would want my wife to be a weed smoker. I wouldn't say I want her to be like a excessive weed smoker. Like if she wanted to smoke like, I don't know, every once a blue moon, like I wouldn't like...
You wouldn't want her to smoke as much as you?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think I would.
Wait, why?
I just would want my wife to be more on point. I want her
Than you?
Not saying that I'm not on point, because then again, it's all situational. Like I feel like if you're just a guy that just smokes after work, gets his job done, and then and then smokes, wouldn't consider that an issue. Like I wouldn't see how that's a problem.
So it wouldn't be an issue if she does it then.
If she does the same thing exactly.
If she smokes as much as you. I mean, if it's not an issue the way that you do it, but you're saying there is some issue though.
Yeah, because you wouldn't. I don't know. I just feel like
you're less attracted to the idea of a female.
It's just aesthetics. It's just aesthetics. Yeah, it's not even.
I mean, it does make sense that most guys, they're able to drink more than the woman they're with.
Yeah, I would just I wouldn't want my chick to be.
But you wouldn't want to be more wasted than your wife when you go out, for example.
Not that either. I could hang, but I'm not gonna be like. Obviously, I want to be able to take care of my wife. Anything
definitely
happens.
Want to be able to like.
If some bullshit happens, of course.
You don't want to be acting like
a goof.
Yeah.
No, I agree. You
want to be able to maintain self-control.
For sure. But she can't be on that either. It's like.
No, she can't.
You know what I mean?
No, that's not good.
I'm here trying to like give myself a little leeway. Like, look, I could fuck up a little, but bitch, you can't. Like.
That does sound a bit odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, whatever. Kant very famously insisted that you are not allowed to live under any circumstance. Wait, what? Oh, that you famously insisted that you are not allowed to lie under any circumstances, even life or death situations. That's odd. He was a big guy on being honest.
Yeah, that does sound. I mean, that's some bullshit from his categorical imperative. I mean, this sounds like
these are just like weird things that philosophers and different thought and shit, just different little.
Well, anyway, just the idea itself that you shouldn't lie under.
That's
any
fucking retarded. Let me just tell you that if you're listening to this in the dead, let me just tell you that was very bad. I could give him like 30 million situations where lying would be better.
You could say he can't beat that. Yeah. Classic. No one's ever made that joke.
Let's see.
Man, I remember these patients that Young was seeing back then. He was seeing this bitch that was like constantly, like she was having, like these neurotic episodes where she was like fucking shaking and retarded. It looked like she was epileptic, but she was just, I don't know, it looked like some weird neurological shit this bitch was going through. And then Young started talking to her, and at one point she ended up like, they went on a walk which is some shit that like psychiatrists would do back then.
Sure.
Right? They would go on a walk with their fucking patients like near the clinic that they were in and shit. And at one point, he removed his sweater.
Okay.
I mean, not his, some sweater or some shit like that, so he could put it on the ground for her to pass through some shit. And he picked it up and he swept it like that, and it made like a whipping sound from how fast he moved it. And she had this reaction. She was like, you know, and he was trying to figure out what it was, and she was like explaining how that shit got her wet, you know what I'm saying? This is not, I'm not fucking around, this is real.
She got horny off the sound?
She did, and then she explained that like her dad, I don't know, her dad would like whip her and shit, and she would get mad fucking horny and shit, God. And it was some next level like
odd shit.
Yeah, it was that type of shit.
I seen a short of Young doing like a breakdown of Hitler's like psychology.
Oh.
And it's like, I forgot what he said. It was something about like, maybe I think it was about like the archetypes of Hitler, or like some shit. There's some shit Young talks about archetypes and shit.
Yeah.
That we all have that in us, or it's something we go through or whatever.
It's in the subconscious.
Right. And I wish I could find.
And sort of manifest itself in like this battle of opposites, you know, like he gives
like if you're this, then your subconscious would be.
Your subconscious retains like this
opposite.
This opposite, but it doesn't just retain the opposite; it retains the potential
of it becoming
for an inversion of those opposites. And so there's this constant tension between these things, and you know, one of them is like of course, like the erotic energy of human beings, but not just the erotic side, but like the what could you call it, it's a fucking word that Freud used to use, I can't fucking remember it right now, but it was something like the psychological energy of the person in general, right? And then there's like the idea of the will to power, for example.
Okay.
Which was also another one that was popular back then, but he said it wasn't either this, it wasn't just libido, that's the word I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't just so it wasn't just eros, right? It wasn't just this passions and power. That's just a part of it. And you know, one example he gives is like somebody who's their ego is very inflated, right? Somebody who has, I don't know, maybe they have an experience. Psychedelics can do this to someone, where you have an experience in psychedelics and you feel like you're a fucking know-it-all, right? Because you had this, you know, experience that encapsulates what feels like everything.
Yeah.
And so that's all just condensed into that period of time, and then you come out of it, and you know, it can.
It's hard not to talk about that.
It can really inflate your ego and make you think that you know a lot more about shit than you do. Can make you feel like you're fucking, you know, fucking next to God.
Right.
Like you're a fucking living God.
You are God,
like you're a part of God or some shit like that. And that can really boost your ego, especially if before that you were a fucking deflated, you know, low self-esteem,
dude.
Worthless feeling dude. And all of that inflation, it's not real. It's not the ego itself. It's basically, it's almost like you could say that there are parts of the subconscious that sort of came through and sort of pretend to be a part of the ego. And that fuels it and makes you feel a certain way. But then the problem is that reality will eventually hit, and the person is almost narcissistic in their sense of wanting to continue to retain that ego. And there's a point of crash where it just falls in on itself.
Where you can't go no more.
And then...
It's kind of hard to.
And then a couple of things can happen. Either, the person could become, again, like their former selves, but even worse, right? Because there's a fall that came from that.
Right.
I mean, it's like, can you imagine, for example...
You say it's like kind of like a false identity, kind of view...
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of got to take a piss, by the way. I feel like sitting in your seat made me...
You got to go ahead and pause it, you know? That seat makes you want to take a piss. You really are reversing.
We'll be back.
The shit that you would do in high school that you would never even fucking consider nowadays, that you just go up And I remember one day I was with somebody, I'm not gonna say who, but we were hanging out and fucking we're stoners and I'm like, well, this guy's good at getting weed or whatever, and basically we're both broke as fuck, and he's like, yeah, bro, I'm trying to smoke. I'm like, what are you gonna do, bro? We don't have any money right now. And he just starts asking random fucking people out in the store. He starts making up this story. He's like, yeah, you know,
the panhandlers.
I can't get home. You know, I don't know what to do. And this and that, can you please give me like a quarter? I just needed to be able to like have enough money to go to the bus.
The bus is the ultimate story.
And the same bullshit again and again and again.
Do it until you get enough to buy a dime.
It was ridiculous. What scares me is how fast he got the money.
No, for sure. I knew a guy that we used to call him the Truth, and he would just be panhandling, like just asking people for money, and he kind of looked like a person that you would give some money to. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sound fucked up, but like
he just has that
like
that face,
that
poor fuck.
Yeah.
He needs this.
Well said.
Yes, that poor fuck, exactly.
So when he talks to you, it's like watching one of those commercials for like starving African kids.
Yes, with the
eyes of the angel.
Right.
That fucking sad ass song. Dude, that's just classic. But fam would get the money, bro, and then it was just to buy some weed.
Incredible.
Man would do that almost every day. When he didn't have money to do it, to buy weed himself, he would just panhandle and ask people he'll do the bus story.
You know, I was looking at steroids recently. I know this sounds fucking left as shit. I mean, this is on another scale, like, but I was looking at the list on the CDC of like the amount of emergency hospital visits, and like of course you would imagine like alcohol, cocaine, right? And then like later on the list is shit like, you know, marijuana. You know, you remember that call that the cop, he got high as fuck off some brownies with his wife, and he panicked and he called 911.
Word?
Yeah.
What a baser.
But that was fucking ridiculous.
There's a video of a dude that got too high off edibles, and the EMT guys pulled up, and Shorty's recording it. Like I said, it's the girlfriend, and they're just there laughing, kind of like in a very silly tone, like, man, you'll be okay. Like, listen, grab some munchies. Go watch a movie, and the dude is just like
freaking
out. He's like, I promise you'll be okay. Like,
why do they take edibles if they're not used to getting high? I don't understand this shit.
Some people don't. I mean, if it's your first time, you don't know what to experience, right?
I know, but if it's your first time, you must want it to be that bad. Like, at least I knew it was that bad when I took 3 stamps and started smoking with you guys that day.
Did you know it was that bad?
I knew it was going to be horrific.
You knew?
I knew it was going to be terrifying.
Honestly?
I just didn't know it was going to feel like I died. That's the part that fucked with me.
You genuinely thought...
I didn't know
like
that...
ego death?
I didn't know that was part of it.
Oh.
I didn't know that was...
You didn't do that much info.
No, I didn't know that much. Damn. That part I did... That completely fucked with me, because...
Yeah, when I seen you do it, I really tried to tell you, like, dude, I don't think this might be a good idea. Like, just maybe take 2 or 1. Just like, let's ride this out, bro.
I took that as... Oh, okay, he said you can take 1. I mean, that's fine. So that means I could take 3, right? So that fuck it. Yeah. I was at fucking Family Dollar.
I remember.
I took 3 of them shits. All right.
I remember that was one for the books.
Yeah. Classic. Fucking baser ass young kid. Jesus Christ. Now this guy said.
Where do you think he is now?
I mean, that's a good question, right? This guy says I'm straight edge now.
Yeah, he is.
He says what the fuck is straight edge? Is like you don't do drugs, you don't enjoy life, you live in a fucking I don't know, you sleep with a fucking.
It's tongue in cheek, but yeah.
You got like an extra large pillow for comfort or some shit, so you don't cry at night or some shit. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, right.
You let some dude fuck your wife. You're scared you're gonna get an STD from her or some shit. I don't know what does it mean?
It's just a joke, but
what does straight edge mean?
Straight edge is more like just someone who's like extremely anti-drug, anti anything that could be too.
All the things that take pleasure to an extreme.
Yeah, that take an amount of risk to it, maybe.
So you're saying I'm an Epicurean?
Epicureans would live by to a pleasure that doesn't require any...
I mean, that couldn't be straight edge, because an Epicurean could drink. They would just drink to the point where it's perfectly acceptable in maximizing pleasure.
After that, if there's anything else, there's any side effects, then it wouldn't be considered.
I wonder what it would be like to be an Epicurean nowadays. I'm sure most people are Epicureans. They don't even notice it. They're just terrible Epicureans. They're terrible at maximizing pleasure because they don't know how to delay gratification the way Epicurus wanted them to.
Well, what's the fine line between an Epicurean and a hedonist?
Well, the hedonist is somebody who... Because, for example, the ancient meaning of hedonism is completely different from the modern translation. The modern translation is something about being...
Feeling good, pleasure.
Just constantly feeling just good and to the max and shit.
Yeah.
And that's not at all what the Epicureans wanted. They wanted a stable dose of constant pleasure.
So equilibrium and pleasure.
Yeah. So they wanted it to be, and they thought that was
a healthy amount?
Well, you want to maximize it. But
to the healthiest amount.
But you want to maximize it across time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so that means you have to delay gratification because you can fuck yourself over in the future if you don't, right now in the present make the best decision for your future self.
Work hard now, and then pretty much enjoy the fruits of it later. Could be. Or do things that would intense pleasure in the future.
But see, I think their theory is kind of fucked up in many ways. I mean, they must have had a very weak man in mind when they developed it, because one of the things is like not getting involved in relationships and shit. Like, these guys didn't want people to reproduce. They thought friendship was sufficient, and then not going to that. Epictetus really shit on them because of that.
They didn't want people to reproduce?
It's not that they didn't want people to reproduce. They didn't think it would maximize pleasure if you got involved in a relationship. So marriage, children, all of that.
That wouldn't maximize pleasure?
Not according to them.
Why? Because it would add certain struggles and...
Yeah, it would add a whole bunch of shit. It would
open doors to discomfort,
instability,
non-pleasure.
Yeah.
Instability of what that... Because that's a more deep form of pleasure when you're getting involved in a romantic relationship with someone, because
so they say you shouldn't be romantic,
that you shouldn't be involved in those types of relationships. So this is a huge thing for these guys. No.
By the way, guys, Ron is here trying to offer me some blow. He does have some, but I will pass, guys.
Yeah.
I will also
pass.
For the record, pass.
Yeah, for the record.
Pass.
I've never done it. I don't. Just not for me.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Anyway, we've been thinking. We've been thinking a lot about what the fuck aesthetic means recently. And
wait, what were we talking about though?
I was talking about Epicurus and
but exactly, we were speaking on.
I was speaking on how the Epicureans didn't promote this idea of people having.
Oh,
children.
They didn't want to get into...
They saw platonic relationships, right, as being sufficient, and the other, romantic involved relationships or having children and shit like that presents a bond that's too goddamn extreme to be able to maximize pleasure on it, because there is going to be problems that arise that are just going to fucking blow you out of the water with that.
So these dudes were just... Damn, so they were just single their whole life type shit.
They wanted to contain the variables.
No way.
Yeah, bro.
Damn, that's a sad fucking life.
Ironic, huh?
Now, I don't know if they went to brothels and shit like that.
They definitely did.
I don't know.
They were getting their fucking...
No, I guarantee they did, but I don't know if they openly would promote that type of shit. That's the thing. I don't know, but...
Would a brothel maximize pleasure?
I mean...
To an Epicurean?
I think it really depends on the person. Because some people can go and just...
See, that's the thing, though. These things always rely on the person, always. So
but see, there's some...
We don't have a concrete...
Right, but with pleasure, it's a different thing than because with the Stoics, it's a virtue thing.
Right.
And it's something that you work to become a certain type of person, not to enhance something that you already have.
Got you.
And so it's a completely different...
And pleasure is going to be different based on every other
individual.
Right. What pleasures me, what doesn't pleasure you, XYZ.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn, though. That boggles. I get it, though. They don't want to have, like, they feel like that's, like, romantic relationships or kids is, like, risky. Like, there's definitely, it's too much of a bond where.
That's what
this
it seems.
Communism against kids.
This is what it seems like.
Yeah.
But damn, dude, to be single your whole life, though, that is a crazy. But I get what, damn, I don't know. I don't know if I could, if I agree with that.
Go ahead, explain yourself.
At that point, I'd just rather be a full hedonist and take pleasures in my own doings.
You will burn out doing that.
That's fine. If
How do you know that?
If the individual, because you're chasing, you're stimulating to chase pleasure.
Look,
yeah, you'll never.
It's a void that's unreachable.
Look, people get used to a certain amount of pleasure and then require more.
Right, it's an addiction
to satisfy it.
Yeah.
And then addiction arises, and then addiction does not maximize pleasure. So that's a huge issue.
Not even temporarily. Not even a little.
No, it can maximize it temporarily, but in the long run, it reduces it.
Yeah.
Right, you doing the same shit over and over and over and over and
over. And so if the goal is to attain as much pleasure as you can, I mean, you would have to delay gratification because there would be no other way to be able to actually maximize pleasure. Because if you sacrifice future pleasure for present pleasure, then you're not going to have that pleasure in the future because you gave it all away to something that you're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, if you do cocaine and hookers today and you wake up and your cock is green, right?
Like the Hulk.
This is something that will affect your future pleasure.
Of course.
Right? Just putting that out there.
Hulk cock. You don't want that.
No.
I agree, though. You do have to sacrifice in order to get the maximized pleasure in the end.
Right, but how much are you willing to sacrifice then? Because you said you disagree with Epicurus and the thing about not having relationships that are, for example, like
but now they're claiming something now.
So go by a mathematical rule. Go by the 80-20 rule. 80% pleasure, 20% work.
They're claiming.
Well, it'd be great if you could
achieve it. You know.
See, because the thing is, the Stoics placed a lot more value on internal. On the internal processes, right? On the shit that you do in your mind, the way you interpret shit, as what leads to somebody attaining pleasure or not attaining it, rather than like the external experiences themselves.
Right, you smashing a chick, you winning, getting money, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Those things.
Right.
More on your mental.
So the Stoic sage, if his wife dies, he doesn't give a fuck. It's not that he doesn't give a fuck. He cares about her, but he's not sobbing. He's not feeling negative emotion as a result of it.
See, that's where it's
right.
like.
And he's also. This is a sage. This is not a regular human being.
I know.
This is an idea that they had. Of course, there is no fucking sage.
Sure. Who was the closest? Marcus Aurelius?
The closest was probably Socrates.
Socrates?
Yeah.
You wouldn't say Epictetus?
Epictetus himself didn't consider himself a sage.
I mean, that wouldn't be...
And he also, I mean, he would mention... Somebody when he gave a discourse one time, he was talking to somebody. He's like, "No, you're this, you're that." Yeah, he was like giving him the problems that are preventing him from progressing in terms of becoming closer to, well, not closer to virtue, but further away from vice.
Okay.
Right, and attaining some progress. And in the process, Epictetus says, "Well, what about me?" Right? Said all this shit about, well, I'm too attached to my fucking body. Right? And, I care too much about this leg. And it was destroyed and all that shit. And so he gives these sorts of things as examples of how he's not a sage, right?
A sage would have been like, okay, cool.
A sage would not have any
negative emotions toward the...
Negative or positive towards anything
just
external.
Just indifferent about it.
The only thing that's valuable is virtue, and virtue is something that comes from within, and that's the only thing that you feel joy in.
That is some, like, robot shit, though, Ape.
It does sound like some robot shit, right?
It's hard to achieve.
Well, it's not that it's hard to achieve. It's impossible to achieve unless you have some sort of neurological disorder. Okay?
Right, we're humans, bro.
The point is not that. The point is that there is something to be said for...
Try to maximize that as much as you can.
For trying to have as much control over passions as you can.
That I agree with, for sure.
To have control over passions?
Over the passions, yeah. Being able to regulate your emotions is an incredible thing. And it's not done by pretending that you don't have certain emotions. Because, see, that's the modern mistake that's made about Stoicism, is assuming that what a Stoic is just somebody that doesn't ever show any fucking emotion or some shit like that, that they act in this robotic manner. That's not it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you could...
It's you mastering it.
You could be... I mean, you know that meme that you always see on the internet where somebody is wearing a mask where they're smiling and then there's tears and they're pissed off behind it? That, right, is what people think Stoicism is.
Right.
People
hiding behind the mask?
Yeah, they think it's a persona.
Right.
That you invite. No, it's not a persona. The whole idea is that if you change the way you think, you will change the way you feel. And if you do that, then that's going to end up leading to more control over your passions, because you're not seeing things the same way. You're not interpreting this thing that you usually thought was bad as a bad thing. You're interpreting it as an opportunity, or as something that's neutral, or something indifferent, or whatever the case may be.
Shoutouts to Adult Swim and Samurai Jack for teaching me Stoicism through a samurai in a cartoon when I was young.
Sure.
Samurai Jack.
Swag.
Yeah.
But I think, it's fucking... I agree with it. Like, I think Stoicism is dope. It's just, it takes a lot of work, though.
Yeah.
To refrain your brain of thinking like that, and...
It does take work. Yeah, you have to consider the impressions. I mean, with the way they saw it was basically like there's there are you have sensory stimuli, right? You have shit that you see the world through, your senses, and sensory information comes through there.
Yeah.
And when it comes through, you build an impression, which is an interpretation of that you get through the senses, and we're human, so we have reason. Because we have reason, we don't just have straight up sensory input. We also have every impression, right? Every sensory stimuli that comes in that you notice comes in with what's called a proposition. A proposition is just a logical framing, or it can also be illogical, but it's a claim. Right.
What you're saying?
A logical claim about what you're seeing, right? So when you look and you have this sensory experience and you're looking outside, you don't just see just raw input of shit. You interpret it and you make claims about it. You
Your
look
mind
outside.
is doing something.
Yes. Instantly you look outside and you say, that's a tree.
Because your mind did it and was
that's
like...
a car.
Yeah, right.
That's this, that's that.
It's not like immediate, like it's like you have to have like a...
Your mind does it.
You have a framework. You have a reference. Like you have like a...
But every time that you have an impression, that sensory stimulus hits you, you end up having a proposition along with it. In other words, you end up having claims about about what you're witnessing that are just pretty much automatic.
Right.
Right? And the automatic ones you can change through practice.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
And the practice consists in basically whether or not you give assent to certain things. And assent is basically just accepting the impression and the proposition.
Okay.
Right? So basically accepting this as real or not. And you can also have false impressions, by the way. So for example, if it's a dark night and you think you see somebody that you know and it's fucking cloudy and shit.
And it's somebody else.
And it might be somebody else. You could give assent. In other words, you could accept the proposition that this is Fred, your friend. But it might not be Fred.
Right.
And so since it might not be Fred, then you might give assent to a false proposition.
Right.
And if you do that, then you're adding to the amount of false information you have. Now, the sage never gives assent to a false proposition. He's eliminated false propositions, right?
If he's uncertain about something,
then he's uncertain about it, but he's not giving assent to it. He's not accepting it because
he's not gonna be like, yo, that's Fred.
The only impressions and propositions that he takes in are the ones that are true knowledge.
Right.
See, the Stoics don't think that people have knowledge. They think that everybody is full of vice rather than virtue, except for the sage.
Okay.
Only the sage has virtue. And the sage has virtue, but he also, see, because it's different. So if I were to tell you, right, that I'm getting better, for example, at challenging certain impressions or reframing them or whatever, you would say, oh, you're getting closer to virtue, right? That'd be a mistake. The Stoics don't think you're getting closer to virtue.
What are you doing then?
You're making progress. But these are two different playing fields. So the best way I could put it is, think about virtue and vice. Somebody that's stranded in the ocean, right?
Okay.
Now, somebody that's in a boat, they have fresh air, they can breathe, right? Somebody that's under the water, if they're 1,000 feet under the water, they're full of vice. If they're 1 foot under the water, they have less vices, but they still have vice, and they have no virtue, which means they have no air. You could be 1 foot away from the water and still drown.
Right.
That's basically how they see it.
That's interesting. A little complicated, but...
Yeah.
I mean, it's the comparisons of having nicer commodities and not having any commodities at all, to which is what makes you want to be in comfort.
Indeed, Ron. So basically, what I want you to do right now is I want you to give me I want you to give me a Kantian interpretation of.
Why Kant though? Why do we gotta go to Immanuel Kant?
We have to go to Kant. So basically, God. I want you to give me an interpretation of how Kant might think that Nietzsche would respond to the latest Pokemon game in terms of its quality and whether or not the Pokemon trainer has achieved the element of becoming the Ubermensch. So I want you to explain that, but I want you to explain it from the perspective, right? From the perspective of the average Samurai Jack fan.
As much as I want to explain that in synopses, I cannot.
I'm sure you can.
No, I definitely...
You can definitely... I believe in you, Ron.
Oh, no.
You've never failed me on this.
But we gotta send these dudes to bread, I forgot.
We do, yeah.
Yeah,
Just imagine a world, if you will, right?
Boom.
A world where nobody gives a fuck about anything, right? Just absolutely no fucks. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
About, I mean, they're indifferent to everything.
Then life wouldn't work.
So
the population would probably,
Just imagine, they still have slight motivation to do shit, but they're pretty much indifferent. So, if you kill their daughter, they'll be like, yeah, I could go to, court or whatever, but the judge isn't going to be there. He doesn't give a fuck. And, frankly, she's already dead. What am I going to do? It's over. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And the daughter, as she's being, hung or whatever the fuck the case may be, right? She's probably like, well, you got to die sometime. Who gives a fuck, right?
It's my time to go.
It is what it is, bro. What are you going to
do? The human population would probably... It wouldn't last long.
Yeah.
We need emotions. And we need strong passions.
Right.
It's kind of how we
gotta be the opposite of Stoics. We gotta be a world where everybody gives a fuck.
Fuck.
No, wait a second.
It's kind of.
Let's go to giving. Let's just. I just want to imagine this.
Okay.
Let's just get this out of the way. What would a world look like where everyone gives a fuck? Can you imagine let's call him Timmy.
Yeah.
And Timmy wakes up in the morning to a constant panic attack. His life is a panic attack. When he was born, he cried for months.
Right.
At first, they thought it was just regular baby crying. But when it kept on going month after month after month, they knew something was wrong. And it turns out he has an amygdala that's 28 times the regular size or whatever. I don't know, whatever mythological bullshit, sci-fi shit you want to make up, right? But Timmy, his life is a permanent panic attack, right? He would get out of bed if he didn't think that he would, slip, fall, and shatter his entire body. He's too scared to commit suicide because it's terrifying. I mean, all that emptiness after you die, who wants to deal with that, right? He would eat, but he's scared that he might get food poisoning and die.
Based on whoever's cooking it, it might be trying to kill him.
Right. He's terrified when he blinks because he doesn't know if a ghost is going to be there once he opens his eyes again.
I see your point. Like, it would be very... I mean, they wouldn't last either.
No, they definitely would not last.
Yeah, they would probably fucking...
They would be paralyzed by fear.
Yeah, literally, bro.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to live.
No.
They would eventually fucking turn themselves into like a fucking...
Now I want you to imagine an intermediate between that.
Humans.
And that's basically what we're dealing with right now.
Humans, right? Like us, yeah.
That's us.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And Stoics want the one where everyone just feels indifferent.
No. Can you help Ron out of here? He's trying to get back in the room. No, what the Stoics want is not for you to feel indifferent about everything. They want you to feel
things that are not in your control.
Indifferent about things that are external, and they want you see, because a lot of what makes you shine in your virtue is the things that you're indifferent to. Because indifference to these things, if you're virtuous and you live in accordance with nature, is what's going to help you act in the proper way.
Right.
So think about like courage, for example, as one of the virtues, right?
Okay.
See, if you're courageous, right, a lot of people do things despite fear.
True.
Okay. But the same action could be performed if you're a sage, which there is no sage. Let's just get that out of the fucking way. The same action can be performed without fear. And every other heroic action that needs to be undertaken. As long as reason is what guides what you think about things and your behavior.
Right.
And it's in accordance with nature.
It's the right thing to do.
Which is basically just saying it's in accordance with reality, the way things are.
Right.
Then that's acting properly. So it's not saying that you don't care about somebody. I mean, you could be indifferent to a lot of shit. But the care that you have...
The feelings are... Those two things are like...
the care that you have
exclusive.
Is based...
They're different. Like you could care about somebody and still feel indifferent about the situation.
Well, the death you could feel indifferent about. I mean, you could still enjoy time with somebody, but if somebody dies, you knew they were going to die. You might not have known they were going to die at this moment.
Right, eventually somebody.
So, the fuck was I going to say?
You were going off about...
Probably some bullshit.
It's caring too much, circumstances, people die.
Right.
It's, about caring for
I just brought up the two feelings could be exclusive. Like you could
the care would be based on reason rather than passion.
There you go.
So the reason overweighs
the emotion.
The emotion.
And it's not emotion per se. Passion is different than an emotion.
So they don't work in tandem. It's separate here.
It's not really the same. Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Okay.
I would have to reread some chapters of some books to get back to you on that, but it's not the same thing. It's a completely different concept.
So would passions be like your, how do I say it?
Think of it as emotional extremes.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you being passionate about something. A situation happens and
but even then that's not a
you had a passionate response to it.
Yeah.
Where you acted very passionate.
Yeah. Now you could still, for example, this so-called sage, which again does not exist. This person would be married, have kids, and enjoy their company, enjoy his wife's company, all that shit, and do everything to take care of them, die to take care of them, and still it would all be based on reason. Now, there's something that hits people instinctually when
what's the reason
when that's said. No. When I say reason, I mean it's based on the person's intellect.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Rather than on passion.
Right, okay.
Right? The joy the person feels is from acting virtuously. And if you have a family, of course you want to treat them
good.
Exactly. Right? The virtue follows from following nature. Nature's here. Humans exist. We're creatures that have reason. So people would be like, well, nature made you emotional. Why would you want to... Are you not living against nature if you're trying to resist emotions and shit?
In a way, yeah. What's the answer to that?
The answer to that is that, no, you're not. Because the problem is that nature gave you the ability for reason. It gave you the capacity for reason. It's what separates you from other species.
Right.
And so if you neglect reason, of course you're going to be all passionate and shit, but the whole point is to master reason, to use the most dominant and incredible faculty that you've been given to the best of your ability.
Right.
And so it's something like adapting your will to nature.
Mm.
Right.
That's very deep.
I believe it. And at any rate, but Schopenhauer was not a fan.
He disagreed heavily.
Yeah, he thought life was shit. Although he seemed to enjoy reading and doing some things.
Life couldn't be shit. He didn't off himself.
He didn't off himself.
So let's cut the bullshit with all these philosophers claiming...
What do you mean, like the David Benatars?
All these pessimistic dudes. Off yourself, and then we'll be talking.
But David Benatar is not claiming that...
Well, I didn't say Benatar specifically. I'm really going at the Schopenhauer.
Okay.
The Schopenhauer swag.
Okay, so Schopenhauer claims to be that life is shit, right? What other philosophers...
Claim that?
Claimed to
I don't think many.
Right? And which circumstances of philosophers also lived the life of misanthropy?
I guess the closest you might come...
I wouldn't say Camus.
No, because he tried to justify it.
Yeah, definitely not Nietzsche. No,
not Nietzsche.
No, Nietzsche was life affirming.
I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's many.
He read Schopenhauer and he was like, no, I'm fucking denying that. We're gonna find the will to live.
What other Schopenhauers are there? I wouldn't even say Diogenes, because I wouldn't even say he was...
No, Diogenes was like the most... He was like a Stoic on steroids.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, definitely not Diogenes. The man who lived in a fucking tub, walked barefoot in the snow, beat off in front of random passers-by in order to teach them moral lessons.
Dude accepted it all.
To say that you're beating off in front of someone to teach them morality is insane.
Sisyphus?
Well, Sisyphus is a myth. But when
that's the dude. Isn't that the dude the rock?
He rolls he puts the rock up.
Absurdism.
The idea was like, all right, let's imagine this scenario, right?
Isn't that absurdism, literally?
Yeah, and if you decide that this guy, who's a mythological character, and he rolls this rock up, this hill or whatever every day, and then it goes back down and he starts all over again. Let's justify this guy's existence, and once we justify that one, well, then we can justify life itself, right? Yeah. Because this is a Sisyphus is an exemplar, a symbol of life,
right?
In this story. And
that if this guy's doing this,
yeah, how do we justify what he's doing? How would we have him accept his fate?
How would we?
I mean, you accept that it's absurd.
Well, would you... Okay, here's a good comparison. Would you compare Sisyphus to Forrest Gump as a modern Sisyphus?
Forrest
Gump. Yeah, I went there.
Well, Forrest Gump, he did do that run.
Yeah.
Famous run where he just ran across, like, a certain portion of the country. And then everybody asked him...
Why did he do it?
People were following him thinking there was some deep-ass meaning behind it. And, of course, like... the existentialist would be like, no, there's no meaning. There's no intrinsic meaning to life.
Right.
And so don't look for one because that's a waste of your time. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's the tooth fairy of morality, right? And so with a guy like Forrest Gump, he runs all this distance and then everybody's following him. There's press and everything. And then he stops and he has a big beard and everyone's like, well, what do we do now? He's like, I'm going back home. That's pretty much what Sisyphus does. I mean, he just pulls the rock up and then he goes back down.
That's it.
So that was excellent, Ron.
Thank you.
My boy Ronnie boy coming through with the analogies.
I saw dualities in the comparisons there. I saw it.
Did you notice the contradiction between the exemplar personified by the onomatopoeia of the Tooth Fairy interacting with the PS2 in a new age manner, in accordance with the latest Pikachu game or Pokemon or whatever the fuck it is?
Anyway, who are some other...
I just smacked my lips to that because I had...
You gotta say that was beautiful. I mean,
who are some other negative pessimist philosophers?
I mean, Kierkegaard in many ways is very pessimistic, at least in terms of like the options he presents.
Because if you don't choose the life of ethics, then...
Because Kierkegaard is telling you it's either or.
Yeah, it's either this, aesthetic, or the ethical life order. Taking the leap of faith.
Well, Kierkegaard proposed the perspective of choosing. The decision, the decision itself implies that you get to shape reality.
Yeah, but I don't think he's very...
But the decision, you have no grounds for making the decision. That's the crisis.
It just happens, right?
You have to choose, and you either have to choose faith or you have to choose reason.
It's either or. That's why it's called that.
How about if duality causes it to be more than that? Like it's...
there is no...
like an inception in itself where it just needed to happen.
See, Kierkegaard's not having that. He's not having that Hegelian synthesis. He fucking hated Hegel.
Real dialectic...
I am.
No. He hated Hegel. Said, look, you can't have it both ways. You can't be a man of God and of Satan. You cannot be a man of the world and a man of God.
Right, that's what I was going to say. You can't
You have to choose one.
Yeah, it's either or.
Hence the fallacy itself. And okay.
The fallacy.
The fallacy, Ron.
Well, if you are forced to choose...
We're
definitely based.
Yeah, you got that right.
Definitely based. But if you are forced to choose and you can't choose your own path, then you're restricted.
There is no you can. You're gonna end up having to choose.
You can choose, but you have to choose. You have no choice, because if you say I'm not gonna choose, you already chose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
the path that's not a faith.
It's not a faith.
Yeah.
Rather, if you were to have chosen a path and you had intention of continuing with that said promise, you would have better results. In my perspective, that's that you're continuing the law of manifestation because you chose.
Are you talking about choosing? Which choice are you talking about?
I'm assuming he's not talking about the ethical life.
The aesthetics. I chose aesthetics.
You choose the aesthetic life.
The aesthetic life.
Well, there's issues with that.
There are issues with the aesthetic life.
There's many. Okay.
Kierkegaard says you're like a child when you choose the aesthetic life, right? And if you really knew how miserable your condition was, you would just kill yourself.
For choosing the aesthetic life.
For choosing the aesthetic life. And not even you might not even know you're living the aesthetic life. Right? Because you see things, you want pleasure, you want beauty in things, but you don't really have moral convictions that would overcome those passions that you have. So
you would be in less control of your passions.
Absolutely. You're basically a child.
You're a slave. You're a slave to those
fucking stoner.
To those pleasures, I guess. I don't know.
Fucking THC, fucking cannabis plant.
It's kicking in, bro. Give me a second.
The intricacies of your inner thoughts, I guess. Right? Which
podcasting's hard.
Introspection. Which is introspection.
Yeah, you might find pleasure in things. You might find pleasure in art, but you don't really have a intrinsic sense of meaning in life. Right?
You feel like you're not like creating that impactful force as a human being. If you have no purpose, if you're just living life day to day.
Well, you are the aesthetic man, and so there is no justification on your part. It's either or.
Yeah.
It's either faith or not faith. But you can't have it both ways. You can't do the Hegelian synthesis where you try to synthesize faith and reason and you try to combine it into, the Stoics actually, and I know I keep turning back to these fuckers, but they saw everything as being material. Even your soul is material. God is material. They were pantheistic, right? And they saw the universe as one material organism
with all its amalgamation,
and it has reason.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing.
Mm. So it has structure.
That was their physics.
That's interesting.
So in that sense, they were materialists, although they did believe in things that were less real, if you could call it that.
Right.
Ape, what's your? I'm gonna sidetrack a little bit here. What's your take on Fibonacci?
Well, it's not my take. I mean, it exists. It's a mathematical sequence, and you can observe it in nature. And there's also broken symmetry, by the way, where nature sort of breaks symmetry, and it's that imperfection of symmetry that actually leads.
I actually wasn't referring to the mathematical Fibonacci, but the person itself.
The guy.
The guy, yeah.
I don't have much to say about him.
No.
Who the fuck is that? Some dude who made some math shit?
He discovered...
I don't know, I'm just asking. I don't know who that is.
I love that shit. That is 100%
based.
The N APE podcast is like looking through some shit that nobody fucking... Some fucking long-ass paper in academia that nobody's fucking read, and being like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yo, prior to Descartes, Fibonacci, he discovered the golden frequency to life. Or so, you know.
You been watching spirit science videos?
Is what he claims. No, but...
Have you ever seen Spirit Science?
No, I haven't. This is the first time I actually get put
I'm sure you have.
You never heard of Spirit Science?
No cap, first time I hear about it.
You'd be into it, for sure.
They have a wild story about how shit...
Does it give Neil deGrasse Tyson podcast type vibes?
No, it gives Neil deGrasse Tyson vomiting type vibes.
Diarrhea out the mouth.
He would definitely not
fuck with any of this. Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He's not on any of that.
So it's on the opposite complete spectrum of...
It really is some hippie shit, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like holistic, okay.
This dude has a whole hour-and-a-half movie about crystals.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Don't start with the crystals.
And it's animated. Everything he does is... Well, almost everything he does is animated.
Dude.
It's like animated movies.
The crystal shawties?
I know some of them. And,
God.
and they are serious about that crystal shit.
Voodoo, mumbo jumbo.
Jeez Louise.
I've talked to them about it, you know. It's so what would happen? Would I receive any benefits if I got some of your quartz crystals and you stick it up your dick hole and just walk around? Would that do anything for me? Right.
What do they say?
And I think they were at a loss for words at that point, so I sort of switched it up a little bit. So what if I stick one up my ass, right? I mean, I just walk around.
What's the real reasoning for crystals? What do they say?
I don't know. It produces some sort of energy bullshit around you, and that sort of that energy bullshit is enhancing your life.
Is there any proof to that?
Fuck no, there's no proof.
There's placebo. There's placebo of videos out there on the internet saying people do feel better after a spiritual cleansing with crystals.
I mean, placebo is not, and it's not a legit. I mean, it's a illusion.
Right.
It's you thinking that it's doing something.
It's you thinking that something
is actually
genuine
happening.
has happened. It's not an effect that's enormous. Like the placebo effect is not. It's not a life-changing effect.
They lie to you pretty much. That's the experiment.
It's not a life-changing effect.
It's not, but it's your mind giving.
That's more on your mind.
It's a small effect.
It's a small effect saying mind over matter, and the best way to put it. For different individuals out there that, you know, have gone through the placebo.
Maybe it's because...
Everyone's been through a placebo effect.
Yeah, it's just part of life.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, we don't even know.
How do we justify a placebo effect once it happens? And we were on the side of doubt or hypocrisy.
What do you mean, how do we know that it exists?
Not that it exists, but how can we... I'm trying to phrase it better for the
Based on the experiment, they tested it out and it worked. They didn't feed you whatever they said they fed you.
So on the results.
That you thought you were getting... Yeah, of course, that's how it works,
yeah,
huh?
Based on the
they
results.
do tests, they do it. They lie to you, be like, yo, man, we gave you some of this shit. Tell me how it worked, how you feel, and then they feel amazing, and listen, bro, we really didn't give you that shit.
To add a tangent to the placebo effect, I feel like what everybody tries to find in that is the science of the variables. Just the variables, the different results that come with it. That's what makes it so interesting.
I mean, yeah, that's the point of it, to see how...
Yeah.
See how different humans react to it or whatever.
The variables, the variations of life. Yeah.
There's different variables of pussy.
There's plenty of variables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
We just went straight to vagina here.
I mean... I'm trying to think. Like, there's really big ones.
I know you're trying to think, you fucking stoner. You're always trying to think.
There's like some really big ones.
What?
Some really big vaginas.
Like meat curtains. Like the labia, the walls of the labia kind of stick out a little
Man
bit.
said meat curtains.
Yeah, velvety meat curtains.
The flaps.
The flaps.
What is your least preferred vagina?
I like flaps.
You do?
I like flaps, yeah.
You like it if the lips are really...
I like some lips.
Like huge?
I don't want it to look like she could use that shit to fly.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
But I want some lip action. I also don't like when I see it and it's just like a fucking... It looks like somebody stabbed her and like it just cleaned up the wound and now all that's there is just this tiny little...
Oh, I know what you mean, dude.
That's the innie.
Like
it's just an innie.
The innie.
Like it's
no
the
flaps.
most... Yeah.
The innies are horrible. Calling it an innie is hilarious.
I like it to have a little bit of flap. I like it to have a nice little...
Dude, it needs body.
It needs some interplay between the flap and the clitoris. You want to be able to see through the flap how wet that bitch is getting.
Dude, innies are the worst, bro.
You guys seriously don't fuck with innies?
I mean,
let's say
aesthetically, no.
Okay, so
it's the worst.
It's not the best.
It's trash, Ron. First of all, I want the vagina to have character.
Okay, so like
aura.
Okay.
Aura gotta be on 10,000.
Explain that shit.
Listen, bro.
What is character?
Character. Listen, bro. That innie shit is no character, my friend.
Okay, so
like it doesn't speak to me.
So okay, so
like I'm not attracted to that.
Okay.
We all agreed shaven here, right? That's what everybody agreed.
Wait, what?
Shaven vagina.
I don't mind.
I mean, it doesn't have to be fucking. She can't be like Chewbacca, but if it's like
Busch Gardens.
Like if it's a little Busch Gardens, if it's a little amount, like I'm fine with it.
Okay,
if it's like trimly shaved and nice,
like a little triangle type shape.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cry about that. Like I'll smash.
Okay, all right.
Now if she's like going like you said Busch Gardens, might have to take a trip to Universal. Go somewhere else.
Whackers.
Might have to. Shorty might have to do some action myself. Like get over here, bitch, and just start shaving it myself.
This ain't the 1800s.
You would bring a pair of clippers before you meet.
That's the number one rule.
Yeah.
I mean, shave that ass too.
And bleach it even.
Might be too far for me, but.
And that one line where Kanye said, "I get bleach in my t-shirt, I'm gonna feel like an asshole."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kanye actually dropped a new album, Vultures, too.
Nice.
I don't know. I didn't really hear it, though.
Me neither.
But
anybody saw the Deadpool 3 movie?
Haven't seen it. Still want to go watch it.
Not gonna spoil it. Just gonna say that Dog Pool, big advertisement on the Instagram. Dog Pool saved the movie.
I see.
We got 15 minutes left. But
I think we're burnt. We're talking about labias and shit.
We're talking about modern, recent things too.
Listen, guys, you guys heard it here best. We'll be back next week with some more
worst
sauce.
Biology lesson ever. Jesus Christ.
And Tangent Man is gonna brush up on Immanuel Kant.
Please do.
Please do. Give us some more knowledge when you...
We'd be honored.
Also go into different dualities of life and whatnot.
From the perspective of the Titanic's ending.
And
through the lens of Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor.
And how
from the point of reference of the Tekken franchise, specifically Tekken 3 on the PS1.
Okay, all right.
As depicted through...
Stanley Kubrick's lens.
From an Avatar movie.
We are reaching the meta.
With Steven Seagal cosplaying and narrating the whole thing
with the aesthetics of Stephen Hawking's body.
All in an amalgamation of Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, where these Miis are created,
and they're all having an orgy.
There it is. There it fucking is. God damn it.
Listen, guys, we're out. Peace.
Peace.
Press spacebar.